Our fourth guest is Louise Morris, who's the campaign coordinator for the Conservation Council of WA and doing awesome work with grassroots. Please welcome Luke.
This is kind of like speed dating, a little bit awkward. So as Scott mentioned, I'm with the Conservation Council of Western Australia. We're a peak environment group representing about, I think it's a 100+ member group now. So to give a quick snapshot, because we only have 4 minutes, I'm going to do a quick run through of the campaigns we are doing with a realisation it all ties into climate. I think one that needs to be recognised quite strongly at the moment is the nuclear campaign, which WA.mp4, who you saw out in our stall at the front, is doing incredible work. Obviously that's been focused a lot around the plan for uranium mining here in WA, but realising that the follow-on from that is this ridiculous national debate that's now going on about nuclear power being the great solve for climate change. And in meetings we've had with Premier Barnett, when we actually have said to him point blank, what is your strategy for renewable energy in Western Australia? What is your strategy for actually reducing our emissions? He quite frankly said, look, don't really have a renewable energy strategy, but nuclear energy is coming our way. We're going to bankroll that one. We know we've got some stuff in the ground to work with that one. And yeah, no, we actually don't have a renewable energy strategy. So I think that really needs to be a front and centre and is a front and centre campaign with us. We also, of course, are working on Forest Campaign, which I was actually, I think, started in Western Australia in the late 90s working on that campaign. That has since evolved from a standard forest campaign to the next big risk for all Australian forests, which is biomass. And this is something that is being raised strongly with federal government about making sure that biomass does not become something that gets a REC, Renewable Energy Certificate. I should stop talking in acronyms. So that is something we're trying to champion damn hard, both here in WA, but realising our info movement really is federal, so that's got to be part of this great climate outcome that we need both from the roundtable and nationally. And of course, Tasmania is, you know, the jewel in the crown that's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for us. But Western Australia, with this great change we're seeing in the forest industry here and the fact that, you know, for want of a nicer term, it's on its knees, they are seeing biomass as the new wood chipping industry that's going to save it. So that's a major thing we're working on at the moment. Kimberley, we had a rally probably 2 weeks ago where about 1,500 people turned out. And Robin's probably going to mention something about the emissions profile of gas. And the Kimberley / Gorgon / you know, work your way down the coast to the Pilbara, where I grew up in Port Hedland, has one of the largest emissions profiles for these either functioning or proposed gas projects going on. So we're working damn hard with the Wilderness Society and with Pew Foundation and a few others to try and get some common sense going in this great gas debate that Colin Barnett is well and truly behind. And a more recent one that alarms me greatly is these proposals for coal seam gas throughout. Not only we've got a few proposals which are having test drilling now around Geraldton, but in the southwest. So anyone who hasn't seen Gasland yet, please go see it, download it if you have to, you know, endorsing a bit of piracy here. It is really important you see it. Not only, you know, we're talking climate change, but this is about water, it's about land use, and it's also about our wonderful mining legislation that exists and how it completely trumps all else. So, you know, slight segue moment there. And I think coming to one that is sitting around a bit is the coal campaign. So, where to start on this one? Earlier this year, about probably 2 months after I landed back in the great state of WA, our Premier announced 3 new coal-fired power stations, as well as the refurbishing of Mooja A and B. Now, I'm not sure if you've seen the ANZ corporate campaign, which has just started rolling out, which is a bit of campaigning on the corporate front, because we all know, you know, essentially where this push is being driven on ANZ. Some research was done by Profundo, for Greenpeace thankfully paid for it, and found out that ANZ were behind the bankrolling of Mooja A and B refurbishment. So they are really, and they're feeling it because they've felt it on the Tasmanian Forest Campaign as well, they're feeling the pain now where their shareholders are starting to hear that this is not where they want their funds sorted through. You would have hoped after the Guns campaign ANZ would have been a little wiser about, you know, some vague CSR, triple bottom line, all those sort of things. So those are the areas we're focusing on, supporting the Margaret River community. I'm probably almost on 4 minutes now. But just quickly on the carbon price, we obviously support a strong carbon price. There's international, you know, third-party hearsay where some big industry players have said that they would need a strong carbon price, and we're talking above $50, to actually get some of the big heavy lifting going in terms of what are we going to do globally on this one. In Australia, I'd love to see it start even $25 a tonne and make sure that that's a baseline we can't roll back on and actually start moving that forward. If we get that in place, Mooch A and B, Barnett has admitted that a lot of the coal-fired power stations currently proposed with a strong carbon price, financially unviable, and he won't support it if they're financially unviable. This massive rollout of gas that's happening across Western Australia, a lot of that is going to fall to its needs if we actually have a carbon price that incentivises some seeking of R&D on clean energy and rolling it out. And we also have Philip here, who's doing some research with us and Murdoch, there you are, on looking at the SWIS, the Southwest Interconnected System, and how we could actually look at moving that from its current system into something that's more renewably focused and sustainable. And of course, Must also heads up the fact that Louise has been doing some incredible research into water and coal around the Collie region, which, you know, for a state that's energy intensive and carbon intensive, we have a complete scarcity of research. So thank you to those people doing the research. Cheers.
Thank you to Louise.